Special Intentions, Councilman Wilmot. You might need to press your button so I can give you the floor.
Yes, I'd like everybody to please keep in their prayers a dear friend of mine, Andy Anders, who has been hospitalized for heart-related concerns. I ask that you keep Andy in your prayers. Thank you.
Any others? Seeing none? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please prepare yourself as accordingly, and we'd like to thank the dear Lord for allowing us to come together tonight to sit here and do the work of the residents of Kenner that have entrusted us to do, and give us the good faith and wisdom to do that work as we see fit and move forward to make this the best city that we can do with the decisions that we make. Thank you. Amen. Councilman Wilmot, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. President, you have a quorum this evening. In accordance with Council Resolution B 14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones, pagers, beepers, and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. At this time, we will entertain any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor tonight.
We have none.
Under the consent agenda, we have item 1, approval of minutes. The council meeting of August 9, 2018. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 2109-18, Copeland's to hold a public gathering on August 25, 2018 from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for the purpose of a Junior T Saints event at 1319 West Esplanade Avenue, Kenner, Louisiana. Item 4 is correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads. Item 4A, at the request of the administration, a report from Mayor Zahn.
Mayor?
Thank you, Council Chairman. Have about 4 things to go over, actually 2 things from me and 2 special presentations tonight, so I appreciate y'all's cooperation and time with that. First, I want to congratulate and thank the code department led by James Mohammed. We just recently did one in Councilman Brennan's district. Councilman Brennan was very instrumental in helping with this, arranging it with code with my office around the Emerson Drive, Furman Circle, and Northwestern Drive area. We had 77 code violations in that area. That's because code enforcement got out there and they look for the things that people are complaining about. Sometimes they're obvious, sometimes they're not, and I appreciate how they do that. 5 court summons came from that. 23 warning violations came from that, and 10 vehicles were tagged. That shows that Kenner is very proactive in code, making sure that our constituents that care about the city of Kenner and want to make sure that the city of Kenner looks good and is within code and legal are doing the right thing. So again, I want to congratulate the code department, thank Mr. James Mohammed, our director of code, and all the men and women that work in the code department every day in the city of Kenner, making sure that we keep our city clean. Freedom Fest. That is the big thing that we're looking at right now. You heard me talk about it a few months ago. You heard me come back about a month ago and talk about the names that we announced. Again, this will be the only council meeting before Freedom Fest. It is next Sunday, September the 2nd, the day before Labor Day. We have 15 food vendors this year, 13 craft vendors with attractions for the kids. They're expected to exceed over 20,000 people. Last year we had close to 15,000 when you see them coming and going because we have shuttle buses. This year, probably at least 20,000. may exceed that, that would be great. The reason they feel this way is because of the 4 acts that they have. 5 counting Miss Jenna Hunt, who will kick it off with the national anthem. The gates will open up at 3 o'clock. Jenna will take the stage at 4 o'clock. And after that, we're on a roll. We have the Yodel Boy, Mason Ramsey, which everybody, when you say Yodel Boy, everybody kind of like laughs, but they laugh because it's pretty impressive for Kenner, Louisiana to have the Yodel Boy. We have Danielle Bradbury that will follow him. We have Diamond Rio that will follow Danielle, and then we will close with Kelly Pickler. Like I said, the gates will open at 3 o'clock. It'll start at 4. We want to make sure everybody also knows this is in District 3. Councilman Hayes has been very helpful, along with the rest of this council, that fireworks will be there this year. That is something different. They haven't done that before. I want to give special thanks to a few people besides this council and our chief of police for their help, and also Councilman Hayes in his district. But I also want to thank Jefferson Parish Councilman Dominic Bastada for stepping up and donating $50,000 to this event. Paul Johnston and Mark Spears on the parish council, $25,000 each. The Friends of Rivertown for continuing to put this event on, and everyone who obviously comes to the event, and everyone who works the event. Numerous volunteers are volunteering, the directors, the assistant directors. If y'all have people that want to work, we welcome anyone. It will be a great event. This is becoming a premier event for the city of Kenner, and I'm extremely excited about it. So again, thank you for all those that are involved. I want to thank all the sponsors too. There's many company and corporate sponsors that are also helping. I'm going to yield this to 2 presentations that we have. I'm just going to announce the 2 people first, and we'll go with the first one first. We have Amanda Calagaro, who is from the DA's office, Jefferson Parish DA's office, who wants to come and talk about juvenile issues in the parish. She'll be followed by Toslin Alfonso, and I think Toslin has a guest with her from RTA that wants to talk about some things that are going on in between RTA, the city of New Orleans, and obviously the metro area, including Kenner. First, if you don't mind, we could start with Miss Amanda Calagaro.
Thank you. Amanda, you go over here, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you briefly tonight. My name is Amanda Calagaro. I've been the chief prosecutor with the district attorney's office in Jefferson Parish since 2011. I wanted to just kind of bring up a few things that I thought maybe some of your constituents might be unaware of or they might find helpful. First of all, this is the beginning of school. This is a time of the year where we generally get a big boost in our referrals for truancy and ungovernable behaviors, and this falls under the state law with FINS. We have a lot of programs that are offered through juvenile court that families can take advantage of. They can actually just walk in and someone will see them and screen the matter and determine where they fall. Our office is located at the corner of Gretna Boulevard in Manhattan, and they can call as well and schedule an appointment. For the office, it's 364-3630, and that is open to all people in Jefferson Parish. Additionally, we have a full-service child support office that is always very busy. Anyone that is in need of applying for a person to be held responsible to pay child support to them can also, now that one you would not be able to do over the phone, but they can appear at juvenile court, fill out an application. Our office goes into proving paternity, setting up support orders, and following the case all the way until the juvenile is 18. It doesn't matter if the person moves away. We even recently had someone that moved out of the country, and we were able to find them and seize assets in order to pay past support. I also wanted to just let you all know that we've been working very hard over in juvenile with regard to restorative practices in the schools. We're looking very forward and excitedly towards this upcoming school year. Over the last 6 years, we have enjoyed a greater than 50% reduction in the number of kids, juveniles, less than 17, who have been arrested in Jefferson Parish schools. So I think that that is meaning that it's suggesting strongly that we're doing something right. We, of course, are always at the ready and always watching to see if these trends are accurate and reflective of what's going on in our society. Of course, there's too many handguns out there, and there's still too many kids that are victims of violent crimes and too many things that, we'd like to not see happening in our parish. We're committed to addressing these things, and I thank you for your time. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to provide any information at a later time, and I appreciate your concern.
Thank you, Ms. Cavalier. Ms. Hanso? Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Caligaro? Toslin, could y'all hold up 1 second? Councilman Carroll had a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry about that, Ms. Caligaro, got your back and forth. But I want to thank you for coming today to be able to share with us about the things that you do as it relates to Jefferson Parish and to our future, to the juveniles. In my other life, other things that I do, I work with a group of juveniles that who have gotten off to the wrong start. But there is no line in an airline highway separating Orleans from Jefferson from St. Charles. It all kind of mingles together. So all the things that you're talking about, for me to be able to do a better job with my other job, I look forward to getting your contact information and to speaking with you about sharing those support services and information, because a lot of time, lack of information, people make bad decisions or don't know what to do. So thanks again for coming. If you have a card, I'd like to get it.
Thank you.
And look forward to meeting with you so we can talk more about it.
Thank you. I'll provide that to you. Thanks
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay, now, Ms. Fonso. And you give us your name, because I know it's not necessarily Alfonso.
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and guests. I'm Toslin Alfonso. I'm the Public Information Officer for the RTA. Thank you so much for having us this evening. I would like to introduce our Director of Marketing and Customer Experience, Candice Marty. She's going to be telling us about the new Go Mobile app, which is very exciting. So please help me welcome Ms. Candice Marty.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toslin. Thank you all for having me here today. I'm very excited to speak with you. I brought a little presentation that we're going to go through on our new mobile app that we soft launched on July 1st. So we're very excited to tell you about this app. It's an innovation that we're bringing to our ridership that we're very proud of, and that's taken a lot of hard work to put together. And we're excited to tell you a little bit more about it. Okay, next slide. Thank you. So we had a version 1 of our mobile app that primarily focused on ticketing. It was a great app, and it worked for our riders who were able to purchase passes on the app to use in our system. However, we know, and through our strategic mobility plan and through a number of other initiatives, we found that a ridership was asking for a lot more as far as knowing when their buses and streetcars would be arriving, having access to all ticket types, not just passes, and a number of other features that they wanted in a mobile app. And we had been working on this for almost 2 years. Part of this mobile app integration was a large system overhaul of our GPS features, our dispatching feature. So this integration was not just the app, but a lot of other products that were going into place, installing into our vehicles. So we launched this summer. This new app can allow you to track your buses and streetcars in real time. It can, if you're standing at a stop, it can let you see the vehicle approaching. So like any of the ride-sharing apps, you can see the vehicles coming towards you. This app allows that. You can see predictive arrival times at the stops that you're standing at. You can plan your trip. So we have a trip planning service, so you can input where you're located and where you want to go, and that will tell you how best to get there using transit. It provides service alerts, so if there's any major issues going on within the system, such as long-term delays, issues with accidents, detours, those will be populated in the app as well, so folks know where they're, if they need to reroute or replan their trip. It includes all ticket types, so all of our single ride fares, all of our passes, and even our ferry fares and passes. And then we have installed multi-format scanners on all of our vehicles. So those multi-format scanners will read the barcodes on these tickets, so passengers can use their mobile phone as a ticket as well. We are soft launching this, which means we're continuously getting rider input in this phase of the launch. We will be refining the app. Even when we do go into the full launch of the app, we will be refining as we go along. Apps constantly have updates, so we will be continuously improving this app as we get more usage. So I wanted to show you a little bit of information about apps in other cities. So, and wanted to explain that this is an innovation for New Orleans and the greater New Orleans area, but it's also big as far as overall transit across the country. So as you can see, New York has separate apps for their systems. They're not integrated. Washington, D.C. does not have maps. They just have arrival time and no ticketing. Chicago has something similar to us. They launched in 2016. Seattle has separate apps for ticketing and real-time, and Atlanta has an existing real-time app, but they're working on their ticketing. So this gives you an idea of how Go Mobile is a cutting-edge app for transit in our system. So this shows you what a route screen would look like. So if you selected a specific route, this is what you would see. And I have highlighted the little moving vehicle that you would be able to see on your map. And that is powered by GPS, so that vehicle is the exact location. If you clicked on the vehicle, you would be able to see that specific vehicle number. And then you can also see the predictive time, so it shows up to the next 3 arrivals. Anything without the little Wi-Fi bar means it's a scheduled time. And then you can get to that screen from your home screen, the map screen, or the schedule screen. Thank you. This is an example of the ticket. So this is a version of the one-day Jazzy Pass. This ticket, again, can scan using the mobile scanners. With that QR code, they see a green check mark when it scans on the scanner and a loud beep, and they proceed onto the vehicle. All right, this is an example of the scanners. Each bus is outfitted with 1 scanner. Each streetcar is outfitted with 2, 1 on each side. The ferry deckhands have handheld scanners to be able to scan tickets for folks boarding the ferry. So this allows our riders to use mobile tickets. Just a little bit of background on the preparation we had for the soft launch. We did internal beta testing for 2 months. We also did external beta testing for 2 months. We had over 80 riders testing the system in real time, providing feedback, giving us updates, and helping us refine the app before we engaged in the soft launch. We also went through accessibility testing. So we had users from Lighthouse, Louisiana, test it for blind, deaf-blind, and deaf users with their readers. So it was, it was really interesting to go through that process, and we learned a lot, and we were able to incorporate our findings and feedback into the product that we soft launched. So our goal here was really to create the best app we could at this point, and knowing that we would have to be refining as we moved on. And then we did training internally as well, training all of our operators, all of our frontline staff. Actually, every staff member had to go through training, had to understand how the app worked, how to answer questions, and obviously the operators want to know that because they're getting asked the questions by the riders. We did a lot of meetings and trainings to make sure that they were fully prepared for the launch of the app. And as you can see here, we held a press conference on June 26th, and we were very fortunate to have Mayor Zahn and Councilmember Seeger as well. So thank you very much for coming to that. We had regional and local leaders there. We had multiple TV and print interviews, and media ride-along. Toslin put together all of our media for this. We felt it was a big success, and along with some social media engagement. And then We have put together some educational initiatives as well to help riders navigate and understand the new technology. If you are ever interested, you can go on YouTube or on our website, and you can see our boarding video, which shows folks how to board the vehicles using the app, as well as an entire animated tutorial walking you through how the app works. So that's all available there. We will also be, we have the boarding video on our Clever Vision screens within the vehicles now, and we will be adding the animated video coming soon. We have developed FAQs for the website. We have an updated in-app mobile tutorial, as well as a brochure and visual usage guides. And then at the end, once we're finished with the soft launch, we will start with our marketing push. So we will have bus shelters, digital advertising, as well as transit bus sides and wraps. So we will be pushing into that very soon. Like I said, we just wanted to get through the soft launch part first and make sure the system was working as it was designed. So thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Thank you so much for participating in our soft launch, and we're very excited. We will have more details about usage rates. We're gathering a lot of data. Part of this was building a strong back-end system that would give us a lot of data and information on how folks are using the system. So we will have more information for you coming. We had over, I think it was climbing, it was over 12,000 users in the first month. So very excited about how this is rolling out. So thank you so much for listening, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Sure, don't go off, I got some. Okay. Councilman Hayes.
Well, thank you very much. It's really impressive.
Thank you.
When do you look at the full launch? When do you think that'll be?
Well, right now, we're within the system, we're looking at a few issues that are happening within the API key, which is what feeds the information into the app. So as soon as we feel comfortable that we can at least answer those questions, if something happens within the app, we will do a full launch. So we're looking at before the end of the year.
I see the logo for TransDev. Did you develop this in-house? Or
Yes, we did.
in conjunction with this company?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It looks very impressive, especially for the people who have some type of physical disability. So
Thank you.
good work.
Thank you very much.
Councilman Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. President, and again, to echo Councilman Haynes, thank you for coming today. Thank you for sharing this information. Obviously, everything is moving towards the app system, but if you could help me, I sometimes get confused with RTA and Jefferson Transit. So RTA services the city of Kenner
Correct.
from the airline route, the Jefferson route, or Williams, or which one does it supports the city of Kenner?
So we have the 202 Kenner Loop, which
Okay.
is the main route that supports the city of Kenner, but there are connection points across the system between both the Jefferson Transit, the jet buses, and our buses. So yes, but the Kenner Loop is primarily
Okay.
202.
So we will have, for the citizens that use the Kenner Loop, we will have readers also stationed throughout the city of Kenner to be able to use the readers
The readers are on the vehicles.
on the vehicles.
Yes, so,
On the buses?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
yep, so you, all of the vehicles servicing the Kenner Loop have these installed.
Okay, and, obviously, the city of Kenner, we have a aging population. Lots of people who don't use their cell phone, AKA Mr. Morella, or a computer as much as others. But if there are opportunities when we have events in the city of Kenner, could you, if not you, somebody come and give some demonstrations on actually the use of it, and to be able to be supportive to the people? Because, I want to, again, thank Councilman Zahn when he was on the Jefferson Parish for coming out with the funds with the other council people to support the city of Kenner, because we need a thriving transit. We just can't operate because a lot of people use that. So to be able to get this information via the app and other ways, if I can get your cards again, to be able to let you know when you may be able to come and support us with this information so we can pass it on. And any type of literature that I can get or that we can get, I would appreciate that too.
Absolutely. I have some in my car, so I will grab that for you today. I actually will let Toslin talk about the outreach because we'd love to do that. I also want to let folks know that all of the technology that I've been talking to you about, our customer care center has access to. So if folks have a flip phone or might not be comfortable using an app or a smartphone, they can call our ride line number and access the same technology via our customer care center. So we have a number of different ways where folks can access access the real-time information. They have an enhanced dispatcher type platform on their computer screens that, so if somebody's standing at the stop, they can say, oh, yeah, there's a bus coming in 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes away. We've also had a number of our senior citizens come directly to our offices, and we'll help them download the app and show them how to use it there as well. So, and then I'll let Toslin talk about the outreach.
Okay, thank you.
We'd love to do that.
So part of my responsibility also at the RTA is community outreach. We have a person solely dedicated to that. So if you have events or you want us to come to a library or a school, we are more than happy to do that. I'm happy to provide my information. Give me a schedule of all your events for the rest of the year, and we'll be sure to attend them and divvy them out as we can.
Yes, I will, just like all of us will, obviously like to get this information. Our person, and Ms. Fauché, correct me, Ms. Mary Sharon will be the person that would have more of a feel for the overall calendar for events for her to be able to speak with.
That is a very good choice, yes.
Okay, well, thank you. So we have a person for the city that represents the city. All of us are our respective districts, and I think together we'll be able to funnel the information. Look forward to your support, too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Wait, don't go
Thank you
off.
for having us.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. President. I just had a couple of questions. The mobile apps, it gives you the real time, which is fantastic. That helps out a lot. I think that's an excellent thing to have on there. Can you pay on the app itself?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so in addition to that, if somebody doesn't have a phone or they're not hooked up to the app,
Right.
can they pay in cash?
Yes. Yep,
Okay.
we haven't changed any of our other payment fare options. So every existing fare option has stayed in place and will stay in place. This is just an enhancement. So yeah, you can pay at the fare box. You can pay using our website if you have a computer at home. So yes, there are definitely the cash fare and the other different options that we had before.
Perfect. So it's strictly enhancement, it's just helping to make life easier.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you much for coming today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And yes, as I said, Mayor and I went to the kickoff, and I downloaded the app right after that and had the occasion to help someone one night along veterans, didn't know where the bus was at, so I was able to pull it up, and it'll be here in a few minutes.
Great. It's a great success story. I appreciate that.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Great.
All right, anything? That's all the questions?
Well, and we'll bring our brochures and definitely give our information as well. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
That
Mayor,
will
anything
conclude-
else?
Yes, sir. That will
Mayor?
conclude the consent agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. That will conclude the consent agenda, Mr. President.
All right, motion by Councilman Wilmot, seconded by Councilman Hayes. Members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda this evening, we have item 9, public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding Resolution B 16923, calling a public hearing to determine whether the structures located at 1013 Minor Street in Kenner, Louisiana shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal. Mr. President, I received a request this evening to remove this item from the agenda.
Thank you. Do I have to move on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moved by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Carroll. Members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 9B is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 12,421, an ordinance approving a planned unit development for an office and warehouse located on Lot 31A, Square 159, Kenner Heights subdivision, which property is zoned R1-P Residential Planned Unit Development.
Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Hayes to open a public hearing. Members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now in a public hearing. Anybody wishing to address the council on this matter, please step up. Seeing none, motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Hayes to close public hearing. Members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Hayes to approve. No discussion. Members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 9C is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 12,422, an amendment to ordinance number 10,930 adopted June 8, 2015, and ordinance number 11,331 adopted September 21, 2017, approving a conditional use for the new construction of a parking garage as part of the Louis Armstrong International Airport's North Terminal located on a portion of T12S-R9E of the Southeast Land District of Louisiana, Kenner, Louisiana, which property is zoned AH-I, Aviation Heavy Industrial.
We're still going forward with that? Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah, I have a request from administration for a deferral, one meeting deferral. Motion by Councilwoman McKinney, second by Councilman Wilmot. Members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0 for a one-meeting deferral.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. Item 12A is summary ordinance number 12,407, an ordinance amending Chapter 15, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Article 2, Section 15-21 of the Kenner Code of Ordinances to add an additional stop sign location on Bordeaux Drive at its intersection with Champaign Drive facing south. Mr. Chairman, we've received a request this evening to remove this item.
Motion by Councilman Brannigan, seconded by Councilwoman McKinney to remove. Members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 12B is summary ordinance number 12,423, an ordinance of revoking the dedication of the 50-foot wide street bisecting in a north-south direction, Square 41 and Square 42, City of Kenner, bounded by Corwin Street to the north and Short Street to the south.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilmember Hayes. Seeing no discussion, members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 12C is summary ordinance number 12,424, an ordinance amending Chapter 15, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Article 2, Section 15-21 of the Kenner Code of Ordinances.
Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Wilmot. I'm just going to open on this real quick to explain that after receiving numerous complaints, particularly on Bruin Street between Bonneville and Williams, with the particularly school time traffic and the fact that some of the intersections, majority of the intersections were four-way stops, but some were not. This sort of opened it up for some extra speeding. And so I had a traffic study done, and the study has recommended making those intersections four-way. And then another intersection at Massachusetts and 34th Street, which is a T and then has a dead end, that it be made a three-way stop, and then with additional signage to indicate the dead end. Seeing no other discussion, members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution authorizing a public hearing to be held on August 23, 2018, during the regularly scheduled meeting of the Council of the City of Kenner to allow the citizens of Kenner to opportunity to comment on the Kenner Police Department's application to the United States Department of Justice Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program fiscal year 2018, local solicitation of $13,308 for police officer overtime for law enforcement activities and criminal investigations.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilman Brannigan. Members, please vote. Mr. Morrell, you
President.
coming to speak on this?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, now this is just to put it for a public hearing at the next meeting.
or at the next meeting.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
all right. No? This is the public hearing?
Yes, it is today.
Oh, okay,
I
I'm
saw
sorry.
23rd.
Then, can we clear it and let him speak? right.
Don't worry, Mike, I was gonna come back and correct you.
You
I know
got
what I
me.
saw on the agenda. Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 46 years. I just want to say I support the resolution. However, I would like to get some progress reports from time to time to see how effective it is, you know, how we doing with the investigations and stuff like that. So I would like to get some routine reports, progress reports on it as well. But I do support the resolution, anything for the police department that's going to help criminal investigations. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
All right. Thanks for catching me on that, Mr. Morel. Seeing no other comments, members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 13B is a resolution approving appointments to the City of Kenner new Historic District Design Commission and approving the decision of the Historic District Commission made during the transitional period.
Motion by Councilman McKinney, seconded by Councilman Carroll. We do have, before you vote, though.
Mr. Chairman, I've received a request from the mayor. The mayor has provided me with a letter from Maria DeFrances stating that she is unable to serve and further requesting that her name be withdrawn from the legislation. In addition, the mayor would like to offer an amendment to add Stan Howitt to serve on the Historic District Commission.
On the amendment, motion by Councilman McKinney, seconded by Councilman Carroll. Members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0 on your amendment. Back to your original motion.
Yes, I see no comments, so members on the original, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 12,410, an ordinance authorizing an increase in the amount of $96,081.62 to purchase upgraded equipment on the Rosenbauer 101-foot Cobra Smart aerial platform fire truck with funds reallocated from the BP settlement from Bonaventure Company Incorporated for the Kenner Fire Department.
Motion by Councilman Wilmot, seconded by Councilman Carroll.
Mr. Chairman.
Before you vote, we have a, don't vote yet.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, I've received a request on behalf of Councilman Brennan to amend Section 1 to read "not to exceed" and delete the words "and the amount of."
Councilman Brennan? Okay, thank you. On the amendment, members, please vote.
If I could have a motion and a second.
I'm
on the
sorry,
amendment.
motion by Councilman Wilmot, seconded by Councilman Carroll for the amendment. Please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Back to your original motion as amended.
Seeing no comments, members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 12,425, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a PAD Trax RFID evidence and accountability system at a cost of $30,282.23 from C&A Associates Incorporated, a sole source provider for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, seconded by Councilman McKinney. Seeing no discussion, members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 12,426, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Hahn Enterprises Incorporated to furnish and install modern shade cover or equal to at Seton Park in accordance with letter bid number 18-1575 and an amount not to exceed $18,515 for the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Motion by Councilman Brennan, seconded by Councilman McKinney. We do have Mr. Morel would like to speak.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 46 years. I have no problem with installing the shade cover in Seton Park, spending $18,000. But I would like to see an enclosure constructed in Veterans Park. Since this was an issue, since the weather now has become an issue, you know, what happened back in May when our ceremony was relocated to Kenner City Park. If you all care as much about the veterans, us veterans, as you say you do, then we'll do everything we can to preserve our park, Veterans Park, our ceremony being held there, and have a facility in case weather is a factor that we can have our ceremony indoors and not have to relocate it. So I would think that would be a priority since y'all express how much y'all care about us veterans. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
All right, seeing no other comments, members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 12,427, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Atacapa Services LLC to provide sanitary sewer evaluation services in accordance with seal bid number 18-6437 and an amount not to exceed $200,000 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, second by Councilman Brannigan. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is a resolution approving change order number 1 to the construction agreement with Frischertz Electric Company Incorporated dated March 19, 2018 regarding the wastewater treatment plant number 3 generator banking project, increasing the contract amount by $47,216 and the construction contract time by 21 calendar days for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilman Brennan, seconded by Councilman Wilmot. Seeing no discussion, members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is a resolution approving change order number 1 final to the agreement with Industrial and Mechanical Contractors Incorporated dated March 1, 2018 regarding the 10th and Maria Pump Station pump replacement project, increasing the contract amount by $5,446.86, extending the construction contract time by 4.5 calendar days, and accepting the project as complete by the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilman Segura, seconded by Councilman Brannigan. Seeing no discussion, members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 15G is a resolution certifying the compliance with public bid laws for bids received on April 30, 2018 under seal bid number 18-6428 for the construction of drainage improvements to University City and Audubon Place subdivision areas, Phase 3, Two-Lane Drive from Kilgore Place to Houston Place, and Kilgore Place from Two-Lane Drive to Northwestern Drive, state project number H.010107, City of Kenner project number 2012-001-DR for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilman Brennan, seconded by Councilman Brannigan. Seeing no discussion, members, please vote.
Mr. President, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance accepting the award of 2017 Emergency Solutions Grant funding in the amount of $51,751 by the Louisiana Housing Corporation and amending the fiscal year 2018-2019 budget to allocate said funding for the Department of Community Development. Item 16B is a resolution amending Rule 7, regular meetings of the Council of the Rules of Organization, Business, Order, and Procedure of the Council of the City of Kenner to adjust the meeting times of the Kenner City Council. Item 17 is reports from the council and our special committees.
See none?
Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and a motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Mr. Al Morel.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 46 years. At the last council meeting, I asked what the economic impact was for our city on the two events that they had at the Pontchartrain Center. The last weekend of July, they had a gun show, and the first weekend of August, they had a dog show down there. So I'd like to get those figures as soon as I can. And I'm not going to yield my time. We can talk about it when I'm done talking. I want to direct this to Councilman Brennan. I checked with the Public Works Department. They said it requires legislation. We need a no truck route sign where East Loyola at the end by me intersects with Sunset on one side and Joe Yanni on the other. I've caught people trying to make a shortcut, veering off the truck route of Joe Yanni into a residential neighborhood, and I ran them and called the law on them a few times, and I ain't had any problems since then, but we do need that sign. Actually, we need one by Vintage and East Loyola, because they make a shortcut there too, and we need one down there by me. We already have one on the other end by East Loyola and West Esplanade. So it requires legislation. I would like to see some legislation to get those two signs, okay? Now, the word out on the street is I'm hearing that there is a developer looking at this property that this council chamber is sitting on and adjacent property to it. Now, this is what I'm hearing, so I just need to get either confirmed if this is so or denied. So when I'm done speaking, you know, you can either confirm that someone is looking at this property or deny it, okay? Now, I would like to direct this to the mayor. I noticed J.A. Bear is no longer with us, and I'd like to know if his position was terminated or if he resigned and moved on, or if he was put in a situation to where terminated or resigned, either one. Okay, now I want to direct this to you, Councilman Carroll, a little earlier about the cell phones and the computers. The best source of information, Councilman Carroll, always was, still is, and always will be the mainstream population of this city, the people. That's the best source of information. All the technology in the world can't beat the information that you get from the citizens in this city. I'm all around this town. I talk to a lot of people every day. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morrell. Mr. Greg Teff? Pass. Mr. Richard Brown?
Thank you, Mr. President. Richard Brown, 824 Sessions Lane, Kenner. And it doesn't seem like 23 years. Moved into my house 1 week before the May 8th, 1975 flood. I wanted to address something that I have already discussed briefly with several of y'all that's going to be on the agenda for the next meeting, and that's the proposal to change the date and time of one of the council meetings. And for the members of the public who aren't aware of this, the proposal is to leave the first council meeting of the month as it is at 5 p.m. on the first Thursday. But the second meeting will be moved from the third Thursday to the third Friday and will be at 11 a.m. to move it from Thursday evening to Friday morning. I oppose this. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's going to make it easier for people to attend council meetings. By people, I mean the public. Several years ago, about 10 years ago, the council used to meet, I believe, at 7 p.m., either 6 or 7. I believe the meeting time was 7 p.m. and had been for years. When Ed Muniz was mayor, he adopted a policy that he wanted all directors to attend the council meetings. As part of that, he tried to get the council to change the council meetings from evening meetings to morning meetings. He wanted them to be at 10 a.m. on Thursday mornings, the first and third Thursdays. That was not for the benefit of the public, and it was not to make it easier for the public. It was solely for the convenience of the directors and the city employees. The council members, I think, wisely objected to that and refused, but in an effort to compromise, agreed to change the meeting from 7 p.m. to 5 p.m. so the directors could just stay at City Hall after they get off work. That move from 7 p.m. to 5 p.m. was not for the benefit of the public. It was to accommodate city employees. I urge you all to give serious thought to this. I think it's a bad move. 5 o'clock is too early for most working people to get here. Most people who work daytimes. And of those who work daytimes, most of them have a very hard time getting off work from wherever they work, which is probably Metairie or New Orleans, and to get here for a 5 p.m. council meeting. And they certainly cannot come to an 11 a.m. council meeting. If you're going to do anything, I urge you to change the meeting times from 5 p.m. to either 6 or 7 p.m. 6 p.m. would be fine. That gives people time to get home and get to a council meeting. So I urge y'all to reconsider this and to not make the change that's proposed for first reading on the agenda. Thank you.
Pastor Jackie Cochrane? Cockerham, sorry.
Good evening. Pastor Jacqueline Brown Cockerham, 2610 Decatur Street, Apartment A, Kenner, Louisiana, 70062. I want to just kind of go along with Mr. Brown. I think that meeting changed, the time for the meeting. It's not a good idea. It's not to the benefit of the citizens here in Kenner. 11 a.m. on a Friday morning would be a very difficult time for a lot of people to come to a council meeting, and a council meeting that involves their livelihood, their stay, because they're citizens here, taxpayers, voters, and we need to know and be able to hear what's going on in the chambers regarding the residents. And just kind of pardon me, that I'm still dealing with the allergies. The other thing is that I'm on Decatur Street. And at the corner of Decatur Street and 27th Street and Bessemer and 27th Street, there's some metal fencing that's going on and closing property. Can anyone tell me what that's about? Because one of them is actually housing wrecked cars, salvaged cars. And I really would like to know what's going on in our neighborhood. They have anybody's attention?
Do you want to
Who
finish
can
your
tell me
time?
what's going on?
I'm not sure if anyone has that answer right now, but you still got a minute and 15 seconds if you had anything else.
I do, but I am waiting for an answer.
Sure.
I want an answer. When the construction at the airport expansion roads began, an ugly temporary wall was put up at Decatur Street. It's still there. It's still ugly, and it has not been maintained. Some of the concrete pillars were removed. The weeds have overgrown that. The orange fencing is all twisted and distorted. And it's just a sight. I hear thousands of dollars being spent to enhance sidewalks, dog parks, economic progress. I'm still asking that you do something about that wall on Decatur Street where I live, because I'm really tired of seeing it, and I know that the city can do something about it. Louisiana Department of Transportation at the airport building says that strip of land belongs to Kenner. And I'm asking Kenner now, after 2 years almost, to do something about it, because I don't like looking at it every day, and I'm sure a lot of our residents don't. And the last thing, are businesses ever cited for violating the ordinances for trash and all of that? Because I haven't heard that, but I see a lot of it.
Okay, your time's up, and I don't know if anyone has answers for those questions for you just yet, but, Councilman Carroll?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for coming, Pastor. I will, you want some water? Give me a little water, you okay? I will get with the co-director for your first response about the fencing, to look into that, to see exactly what's going on. We're gonna take a ride out there and take a look at that, and I'll get back with you. The second part was the wall, which I think is a temporary wall that you're referring to. I'm not, we've talked about the wall, covering it up and doing different things. But if this is the temporary wall that you're referring to and not a permanent structure, is that correct?
It's a temporary wall, but it's still ugly, and it's in my neighborhood. I look at it every day. And if you can put a temporary wall there with concrete pillars, you can put something to cover it. I don't know what you might call it. I don't know the terminology, construction terminology for it. But the junk that's up there now, I'm sure can be covered. Enclosed shades, whatever you do with the taxpayers' dollars, I want something done about that wall. I'm tired of looking at it.
Well,
And I made the request
yes, you have.
time and time again.
And during our visit out there, we'll look at the wall too to see exactly what can we do. I'm just going to say that it is a temporary wall. It's not going to be forever. I can appreciate you not wanting to look at this like anyone who would not want to look at anything that doesn't look good. So we'll look at that to see exactly what we can do. As far as expending too much funds of your tax dollars, I would not want to go down that direction, but we will look at it. As far as the cleanup, there are some things that you and I talked about, some debris or something that has been left. Also see about moving that out of the way. And I think your final question was about are businesses required, just like constituents, to maintain their property from debris and all? Or
businesses being cited as residents or when they're violating city ordinance.
okay, they all held to the same standards as the citizens, and my understanding is yes, they will be cited just like citizens if they do not adhere to the laws of the code.
Okay, now, I've been hearing this about
Pastor,
the wall for a long time.
Pastor, is Councilman Carroll, you finished, please?
I'm finished.
Okay. I do have Mr. Mohammed who is asked to speak, so he may have an answer to your last question.
We're getting ready to do a major code sweep on Williams Boulevard. As you know, Williams Boulevard's changing daily. It's probably going to be one of the most busiest intersections for the rest of our lives here in the city of Kenner. We're moving forward with a big code sweep real soon. And we try not to target the business as much as we do the residences, because we're so overwhelmed with what's going on in your neighborhood especially. I don't know if you noticed this, but over the past 5 years, we've cleaned up your neighborhood tremendously. There was a lot of problems in that area. I think the police chief will agree. We went in there aggressively, and we've really went above and beyond to make where you're at, where you live at, a much better place to live.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the construction barriers, caution barriers at the corner of Decatur and 27th Street belong to the Roads and Bridge Department?
Ma'am, that's part of progress.
No, it's laying flat on the ground. It's not covering anything on the corner in the street.
I will go out there tomorrow and take a look and verify. I'll be more than happy to meet with you at any given time. I'm very accessible. If you would like, you can give me a call anytime. We'll do whatever we can to try to make things even better than what we have made them in the past.
I'll get your card, and as soon as I
ma'am.
finish my walk with Humana, 10 o'clock, I'll be at home.
Thank you, ma'am.
2610 Decatur Street. Thank you.
Thank, okay, press your button.
Yeah, I just wanted to, just one thing to say, Mr. Morella, there's no need to come up or anything. Mr. Morella, I just wanted to address I tried to process what you said the last time, your comments to me, and I did not understand at all what you said. Mike, I don't need you to respond. Next week you can respond, but this week you said that the voice of the people is always, and I will agree with you if that's your stance. But I think my comments were to the lady that I would like for them to be able to be part of our support to help people who are not computer literate as some people. And I did use your name because you have made it clear to everyone that you don't use the computer. That's what I said. I didn't say it wasn't the people. So I just wanted to clear that up from your comment to my understanding of it. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Ron Product? Pre-dat?
Don't send it to the whole council office.
Ron Pradat, 960 Tavel Drive, District 4. I'm here, Chateau Elementary School, traffic. That's what I'm here for. I've been told it's getting taken care of, but nothing gets done. We get police presence out there Monday. Everything was fine. Yesterday, we had a policeman out there. All he did was stand across the street in the shade of the tree, and he wouldn't ask the people to move out of our driveways. He let the traffic pile up bumper to bumper, said he's not writing any tickets. The crossing guard even asked him, coming from the west, the traffic started lining up in driveways down the street. They supposed to go around and line up on Chateau. He wouldn't go over there and do that. I don't know what he was there for. I could have had a cardboard cutout and stood up across the street, and it would have done the same thing he did. But I'd appreciate it if we could have this problem resolved. It's getting bad. Tempers are fuming. And you ask the people nicely to get out your driveway, and some of them are real nice. They understand. But some of them want to curse you out and give you a hard time. I mean, they don't want to respect the people in the neighborhood. So I ask this council, city officials, do what they can to try to help us resolve this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. That's no other, oh, wait a minute. Mr. Brannigan, Councilman Brannigan?
Ron, we had talked last Friday night and talked about the situation, and we are working on making sure this gets worked out. The chief and I are working on this. I passed by there today on my way here at 310 and down Chateau Boulevard. No driveways were blocked. Down Tavel, where you live, the cars, I could see the openings by each driveway. Now, once they get moving, that's where the problem lies, and we are going to get that fixed.
Also, they coming in early. Before 310, the sign says 310 on Chateau and Tavel, for them to come onto the street unless they are resident, and they've been coming in early. When there's no police presence, they come in early anyway. They could care less about the signs. Our neighbors ask them to get out their driveway. One of my neighbors was threatened last week by one of them. And the lady even claimed that her husband works for the city of Canada, that she's in big trouble. So I don't know what that's all about. And then she says, well, I know where you live. I took that as a threat, and she did too. So she called the police. Today I called 911. We had an officer come out, and the people were blocking our driveways, and he called his sergeant out. And the sergeant came out and said, well, we're not issuing any tickets or anything, but where does it end? That's the only thing that these people are going to wake up to. They could care less about the signs. When there's no police presence, they don't do nothing. So they do what they want.
Well, I can tell you that we will get this worked out, and I will make sure that we do not have the same issues that we've had. Last year when these issues popped up, and I wasn't the councilman, I know steps were taken to correct the problem.
And they did get taken care of last year. At the end of the school year, everything was fine.
And I think that what you have to also look at is, we have a new school year, we got new parents. When we talked the last Friday night, they had grandmothers that had no idea that they weren't supposed to block driveways because they weren't reading the signs that were up there. We are working on this problem, and I guarantee you we will get it fixed.
And another thing we came up with is the neighbors have been talking, and we'd like to know, the school, from what I understand, can have people out of the district come to it if they're homeless.
Yes.
And the federal government pays the school board money for these children to go to that school. Well, the school's overcrowded to start with. Last year, I was told they had 6 teachers working out of a closet. So if the school board's making money on this and they keep shoving them down our throats with the traffic, why can't they pay for a paid police detail to be out there just to resolve the traffic issues?
All right.
Ron, we are working on it,
Thank you.
okay?
Thank
We
you.
are working on it.
Chief Glazer?
Well, as all of you know, every pocket school we have in Kenner has its problems with traffic. When a policeman's standing under a tree monitoring the traffic we don't give tickets for the first 2-3 weeks of school to get the people into a routine, tell them what they can and can't do. District 5's got 2 schools with problems. You have District 3 with Sneckenberger that's been a problem. You have Washington Elementary and 1 that have no policemen because they're sitting
Calvary
over
and 2.
at Chateau Elementary trying to get that all worked out. Mr. Pradat, I'd like me and you get together. This is what's going to take to make you happy. We're going to spearhead about a $2.5 million millage so you can have a policeman sit in front of your house every day. That's the only way it's going to happen. The only way. Because as soon as the policeman leaves, somebody's going to break a law. That's the only way this is going to get resolved. Back when Councilman Klein was here, Digital Engineering did a traffic study. The result of that study is you cannot help this traffic situation in and around Chateau Elementary. I have it. I'm sure Councilman Brannigan now has it. The mayor's office may have it. I'll give it to you. You can read it. There is absolutely no way. They got over, I believe, 900 students in this school now that have to get to school and get from school. And just because you're driving down the street and traffic backs up, this is how insane this is. When you leave this council meeting and you're driving down Williams Boulevard and you stop at a red light and block a driveway, I'm going to give you a ticket. That's how crazy this is. I understand it's a pain for all the residents, but it's not the policeman's fault that he's standing there on my direction not to enforce any laws so we get an idea of what happens. So he comes back to me, we come up with a plan, we'll get with the principal like we did last year, 700 letters to every parent stating this is the new traffic plan. The new parents come in, they don't, I guess, understand it, they don't follow it, those are the ones that we'll cite. But it's not that the policeman's just standing there doing nothing. But while you complaining, every other of these councilmen, I mean, I got large trucks on Leola and Pellerin. They will be there long after I'm gone because they were there long before I got there. There is no way that you can police yourself out of every problem in the city of Kenner. What you need to do is thank a policeman that you go home and your house wasn't burglarized and there was no homicides in your neighborhood and quit bitching about the little things.
Okay, that concludes all the people wishing to speak. No other comments. Anybody got any other business? Entertain a motion to close. So moved. Meeting's closed.